And I don't say this lightly, but that was a career-killing performance for Michael Chandler. Yes, of course, he'll fight again. Yes, he'll still make money. Yes, people will want to tune in, but that's it. There ain't no more title talks.
I'm gonna stop counting you out. You're fucking badass, bro. Honestly,
Thank you.
Respect. I appreciate it. Good night, man.
I want to be a world champion. I've always said that I am going to be a world champion. And beating a former champion like Charles Oliveira, who had 2 title defences, he gets called the best submission artist the UFC's ever seen. So I'd love to go up against that because I think I've got better submissions than Charles Oliveira.
Quick comment on Colby Covington.
Colby Covington, lad, the little mushroom. Colby the snitch Covington. You can this.
After the first round, it was done. It was over. Michael Chandler was absolutely exhausted, and Paddy the Baddy just got better and better, grew in confidence, started landing at will, throwing long combinations, bust him open with a flying knee, lands a flying knee and then goes on the attack, gets the takedown, picks him up, slams him down, takes his back. It was a mauling.
UFC 314 is finally over, and we have seen some epic encounters there, but the best one was Paddy the Baddy Pimblett knocking out Michael Chandler in the co-main event.
Declaring the winner by TKO, Paddy the Baddy.
After the fight, Paddy Pimblett made his intentions clear and took a dig at his doubters. He feels his victory was a slap on the faces of those who thought he would never get ranked and enter the top 10 rankings.
Who would you like to fight next?
Anyone in the top 4, top 5. I want that world title. All laugh all you want and say I'll never be champ. Just like you said, I'll never get ranked. I'll never be on the top 10. But what now, you gang of mushrooms?
Paddy Pimblett took aim at the top dogs of the division, calling out the top contenders Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Charles Oliveira, and Arman Sarakian. He is ready to fight any of them as he is more confident now.
I want Dustin, Justin, Charles, or the little posh boy Arman. Any of them 4, but
the former UFC champion was very impressed by the remarkable performance of Paddy against Michael Chandler. He was stunned to see such a dominant performance from the Englishman, and he acknowledged him for passing the biggest test of his career.
Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. He was unreal. It was incredible. I was actually left in shock. That performance was insane, right? It was the toughest test of his career. He had to prove to the world that he could back up all the talk that he's had, all the bravado, all the arrogance, you might call it, all of the confidence that he's talked about since day one. When it came time to put up or shut up, he passed the test with flying colors.
Michael Bisping further said that it was a career killer from Paddy Pimblett. He thinks Paddy has most probably put an end to Chandler's career and dream of becoming a lightweight champion.
When I say that was an impressive performance by Paddy Pimblett, I'm telling you, that's an understatement. He just went out there and absolutely destroyed Michael Chandler. And I don't say this lightly, but that was a career-killing performance for Michael Chandler. Yes, of course, he'll fight again. Yes, he'll still make money. Yes, people will want to tune in, but that's it. There ain't no more title talks. There's no more see you at the top. There's none of that. Paddy Pimblett just put an end to all of that.
Bisping doesn't feel Chandler will get more chances to fight for the title contention, as his age won't allow him now.
If he was 30 years old, he could have another go. He could dust himself off, have another crack at the whip. But no, Father Time is undefeated. He's 38 years old, and there ain't no way that he's getting back into title contention ever again.
Michael Bisping further praised Paddy's confidence for calling out all the top contenders of the lightweight division. The UFC Hall of Famer feels everyone in the lightweight division will now start to take Paddy more seriously, as he is a real threat for them now.
He looked like the guy that he's always spoke about, the person that he says that he is, the person that calls out everyone, that dismisses all the opposition at the top. And for someone that doesn't call people out, he called out everyone. Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Ilia Topuria.
Anyone else got any questions?
He did not give a single and rightly so. The man is coming to be a champion. Will he do that? We don't know. But I tell you what, after tonight's performance, everybody's got to start taking him a lot more seriously. I'm telling you, he looked like a killer tonight.
Paddy the Baddy has also made his roadmap for the title fight against Islam Makhachev. He thinks he is just one fight away from getting the title shot. Paddy wants to fight the former lightweight champion Charles Oliveira before fighting the champ Islam Makhachev. He said it would be a great matchup, and he is aiming to become the champion by 2026.
On a fight, you also said you wouldn't mind fighting Charles Oliveira in Abu Dhabi. So is that the plan? One more fight, title shot for you?
I hope so. You know what I mean? I do. I want to be a world champion. I've always said that I am going to be a world champion. And beating a former champion like Charles Oliveira, who had 2 title defences, he gets called the best submission artist the UFC's ever seen. So I'd love to go up against that, because I think I've got better submissions than Charles Oliveira.
Last one for me. 1 year from now, do you think you have the UFC title?
I fucking hope so. 2026, lad. I want that belt wrapped around my waist.
The former middleweight champion Israel Adesanya congratulated Paddy for his epic win against Chandler. He was impressed with his performance and said that he will not count him out anymore.
Thank you very much, Alex. Congrats. I'm going to stop counting you out. Badass, honestly, thank you. I appreciate it. Good night, man.
Dustin Poirier also looked to see such a dominating performance from Paddy Pimblett at UFC 314 against a guy like Michael Chandler. Dana White reacted to this epic victory of Paddy Pimblett and praised the Englishman. He said that people continue to count Paddy Pimblett out, but he keeps improving each time he steps into the octagon. He emphasized that Pimblett proved he's the real deal, stating that defeating Michael Chandler and doing so in such dominant fashion should leave no room for doubt about the young fighter's legitimacy. Dana White told reporters at the UFC 314 post-fight press conference, "People keep counting him out, but he keeps looking better and better every time he shows up." Yeah, Paddy Pimblett showed tonight he's the real deal. Beating Michael Chandler and beating him the way he did, I don't know how you can't doubt the kid anymore. Furthermore, Dana White still backs Michael Chandler despite his poor form, as the lightweight has now lost 5 out of his last 6 fights. Dana White thinks Chandler is always in the fight, and that it was just a bad day for him. He said Paddy proved everyone wrong at UFC 314 and backs Chandler as a fighter who always puts his opponents under pressure.
Michael Chandler is now 1-5 in his last 6, but he's always been exciting and a fan favorite. What do you make of his performance tonight and work?
And he's always in the fight. I mean, he's always in the fight. You know, tonight was a big night for Paddy Pimblett. People, like we were just talking about, people have been doubting Paddy Pimblett every single fight he fights, and he's undefeated in the UFC. But Chandler's like our Arturo Gatti, man. Every time that guy goes in, you know you're in for a good fight. You know it's going to be a war, and you don't know whether he's going to win or lose.
Paddy Pimblett talked about his fight with Michael Chandler and acknowledged the skills and temperament of his opponent. He said that Chandler landed 4 back-of-the-head shots on him in the first round. According to Pimblett, everyone doubted his cardio before this fight, but he proved them wrong at UFC 314.
He pretty much got you with one of the best nut shots I've ever seen. You know, we spoke about he said he was a dirty bastard in the cage. Reckon he did that on purpose, or was that?
I don't know what I mean. As I say, I like Mike. He's a nice fella. He's very respectful and nice outside the cage, but when he gets in it, he hit me with about 4 punches in the back of the head in the first round. You know what I mean? Nothing even got said to him. But you never know. He might have kicked me on purpose because he needed a little break. Everyone was questioning my cardio going into this fight, saying that I wouldn't be able to keep up a pace with Mike. And it was him that was gassing, not me. I felt fresh.
Paddy further talked about how he tackled some tough attacks from Chandler. The English fighter said he didn't want to let Michael Chandler rest even a little bit after the groin stroke, and that's why he went back to fight immediately as he was aiming to finish the fight quickly.
So because of that, when he kicked me in the balls, it was a flush kick as well. It was me dick and my balls was still hurting when I said let's go, but as I say, I knew he was tired. I could see he was tired, so I was like, I'm not giving him this breather so he can get all his breath back and swing a big punch at me. I just got right back into the action.
After the fight, Paddy Pimblett described his respect for Dustin, Justin, and particularly Charles, calling Charles the most accomplished among them and noting his reputation as one of the UFC's greatest submission specialists. Still, he questioned that title, saying he's here to challenge it and wants to go head-to-head with Charles. As for Arman, he brushed him off with some harsh words, making it clear he didn't see him as worth his time. Paddy Pimblett said after the fight, "I respect Dustin, Justin, and Charles. Charles is the biggest legend out of them all, and he gets called the best submitting artist the UFC has ever seen. Well, I dispute that. I'm here, so me versus Charles. Fuck Arman, he is a little helmet. Fuck that sausage." This is not the first time Paddy has trash talked about Arman Tsarukyan, as he always roasts him. Arman is probably the least liked person of Paddy Pimblett, and he continues to mock him and even calls him a posh boy.
The only person in the top 10 I can think of who's under 35 is Arman Tsarukyan. He's just a little posh boy who's had everything handed to him on a silver platter by his dad.
Do you think he actually got injured or no? Or what do you think happened?
No, he's a little bitch ass. That's what you are, Arman. Little boy.
Paddy further talked about Arman's pulling out of UFC 311. He brutally criticized him for pulling away from that fight. Paddy loved the interview of Dana White, where he harshly spoke about Arman's injury.
And then he's saying that he's got a bad back. Dana said, didn't he? It was like Dana shot him down in that interview. I was like, whoa, that's heavy, that. You don't want the boss saying that about you. But because he got asked, didn't he, is Arman still number one?
Right.
And he was like, no, he's gonna have to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
He basically said that like doctors come out and Heather, the best masseuse in the PI, come out and they never said to him, you can't fight. He decided he's not gonna fight. So basically, Arman, you shit your pants. Know what I mean? That's what you did. You farted and followed through and had shit coming down your leg.
Arman Tsarukyan reacted to that statement and criticized Paddy's skills and appearance. Arman fired back at Paddy, mocking him for what he described as the easiest path to the top in the UFC. He challenged Paddy to call him out if he won his next fight, warning that when they would eventually meet in the octagon, it would be clear who the real clown was, and who would be the one panicking under pressure. Mentioning Paddy Pimblett, Arman Tsarukyan wrote on his X account, "Says the guy who got the easiest path to the top in UFC just because he's got a funny accent and budget Beatles haircut. I dare you to call me out if you win, and we will see who will shit his pants in the octagon when we meet Clown Paddy." Paddy was in no mood to stop as he further targeted the Armenian fighter for getting VIP treatment in the UFC. He fired back and said that Arman had everything handed to him, pointing to his wealthy background. He contrasted that with his own journey, saying he represents what real hard work looks like. Paddy also took a shot at Arman's composure, suggesting that pressure got the better of him before his title fight. Paddy Pimblett said, "Arman's had everything handed to him on a plate. He's got a rich family and about 50 cars. Other people don't get to do that. This is what a hard worker looks like, and that's why he sat himself before his title fight." Paddy also engaged in a screaming match with Colby Covington backstage after his victory over Chandler at UFC 314. Both fighters charged at each other and threatened to slap the other. Colby Covington was seen calling Paddy Pimblett a bum, while Paddy responded by calling Covington a maggot.
Bro, you fight scrub. You guys are 2 and 6. I'll come and slap you, and you'll be. I'll come and slap you. Zip your shades up, you little mate. You mean guys are 2 and 6? Remember that. Remember that. You're a scrub. You're a fraud. You're a fraud. Lad, what are you on a 3-fight losing streak? You did fraud check so quick. Hey. Keep putting your act on you.
During the post-fight broadcast, Paddy didn't hesitate to call Colby out, accusing him of putting on a tough act only when the cameras are rolling. He mentioned a recent encounter at a power slap event where Colby allegedly avoided eye contact and kept his head down despite walking right past him. Paddy used the moment to take a jab, implying Colby would call the police if things ever got physical, just like he did with Jorge Masvidal, labeling him a snitch in the process. Pimblett said on the post-fight show, "He only does something when a camera is about. I saw him at Power Slap the other week and walked past him. I was staring at him and he looked at the floor like this. Now he knows there is a camera about. He walked past, so I just said to him, I'll go and slap you, but you'll go and ring the police like you did with Jorge Masvidal, you little grass." Pimblett further targeted Colby, brushing him off as irrelevant and desperate for attention. He mocked Colby for allegedly paying supermodels to appear with him and pointed out his losing streak, calling him a nobody trying to cling to relevance by stirring up drama. Paddy made it clear that while he'd gladly fight Colby just for the fun of it, he has his sights set on bigger challenges than what he referred to as a little mushroom. Anyway, he ain't. He pays supermodels to stand with him, the bum. He's a nobody. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. He's irrelevant. He's trying to use me now to stay relevant because he's a nobody. He's a bum. I'll beat Colby Covington for the laugh, but I've got bigger fish to fry than that little mushroom. Paddy didn't stop there and went off on Colby Covington after their altercation. He brutally mocked Covington, showing his anger for the fighter.
Quick comment on Colby Covington.
Colby Covington, lad, the little mushroom. Colby the snitch Covington. You can suck this.
On the other hand, the MMA pros have reacted to this epic victory of Paddy Pimblett at UFC 314. The lightweight fighter Renato Moicano said that Paddy will now be considered as a threat and everyone will take him seriously as he is more an easy money now. Renato Moicano further suggested the UFC to make him fight Chandler. He took a dig at Chandler by using the famous statement of Islam Makhachev and shared advice for him. Or UFC makes Moicano versus Chandler, or they should put him in an unemployment program, send him 2-3 years to welfare and forget. The MMA fighter Dylan Dennis was not impressed with Michael Chandler's performance at UFC 314. Dylan Dennis expressed his disappointment by saying, "Man, Michael Chandler fucking sucks." Corey Anderson enjoyed the remarkable performance of Paddy Pimblett on Saturday night. He was impressed to see such a dominant victory and wanted to order a wig like Paddy's hairstyle. Corey Anderson said, "Yeah, I'm about to order me a Paddy wig right now." The welterweight champion Belal Muhammad reacted to this unexpected result of UFC 314. He said April 12th was not a good night for the former 2-time Bellator champion. Belal Muhammad said, "Not a good night for Bellator." Belal further reacted about this fight, and he thinks with Paddy's win at UFC 314, Islam Makhachev has got a new contender for the title fight. Belal Muhammad said Islam got a new contender. Belal Muhammad also thinks that this win might open the gates for a Ilia Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett encounter in the lightweight division. Belal Muhammad questioned, "Paddy versus Topuria finally?" Renato Moicano thinks that Michael Chandler wasted a lot of his time waiting to fight Conor, and that never happened. He believed Chandler made a big mistake as he wasted his prime days due to that wait. Renato Moicano said, "The fault of Michael Chandler looking so bad against Paddy is Conor McGregor's fault. He wasted his prime years waiting for the money fight. They should give Conor the title next just based on that. He broke the man without even fighting him." Meanwhile, the former lightweight champion Conor McGregor was interested to see Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett fight. He wanted Chandler to win and bet $500,000 on Chandler knocking out Paddy Pimblett at UFC 314.
What's up, everyone? It's the one and only notorious D-O-double-G. Want to wish you all a great fight night tonight and come through with my bet for the night. The fight I'm interested in, Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett. I'm going to go with Michael Chandler to win and win by KO. Although Paddy's improved in his last few outings, I still fancy Chandler to do it. Let's go, boys.
Paddy was also surprised when he came to know that Conor McGregor bet on Michael Chandler to knock him out. He was shocked that the Notorious had bet on Chandler instead of him.
But as I say, anyone can get it. All the names I mentioned. And even McGregor putting money on Chandler to win, lad. Like, the Irish Scouse connection, lad, he's meant to back me, and he never. So, if he wants it, he'll get muftied as well.
That surprised you?
Yeah, I didn't think he'd go against me, like, to be honest. I thought he'd back me, lad. Not back Chandler, but one of them, innit?
So this is all we have from today's video, and hopefully you have enjoyed it. Share your thoughts about this historic win of Paddy Pimblett in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and make sure to press the bell icon to get instant notifications about our latest videos.